We are on chapter number 11, page number 208, starting from the second paragraph. This does not mean that militant nationalists were anti Muslim or even wholly communal. Far from it, far from it. Most of them, including Tilak, favored Hindu Muslim unity. To most of them, the motherland or the Bharat Mata was a modern notion and being in no way linked with religion. Most of them were modern in their political thinking and not backward looking. Economic boycott, their chief political weapon, was indeed very modern, as also their political organization. Tilak, for example, declared in 1916, "He who does what is beneficial to the people of this country, be he a Mohammedan or an Englishman, is not alien." Alienness has to do with interests. Alienness is certainly not concerned with the white or black skin or religion. Even the revolutionary terrorists were in reality inspired by European revolutionary movements. For example, those of Ireland, Russia, and Italy, rather than by Kali or Bhavani cults. But as pointed out earlier, there was certain Hindu tinge in the political work of ideas of militant nationalists. This proved to be particularly harmful as clever British and pro British propagandists took advantage of the Hindu coloring to poison the minds of the Muslims. The result was that a large number of educated Muslims either remained aloof from the rising nationalist movement or became hostile to it. Thus, falling an easy prey to a separatist outlook, the Hindu tinge also created ideological openings for Hindu communalism and made it difficult for the nationalist movement to eliminate Hindu communal political and ideological elements within its own ranks. It also helped the spread of a Muslim tinge among Muslim nationalists. Even so, quite a large number of advanced Muslim intellectuals, such as the barrister Abdul Rasul and Hasrat Mohani, joined the Swadeshi movement. Maulana Azad joined the revolutionary terrorists, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah became one of the leading younger leaders of the National Congress. This was because the national movement remained basically secular in its approach and ideology. This secularism became sturdier when leaders like Gandhiji, C.R. Das, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, M.A. Ansari, Hakim Ajmal Khan, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Subhash Bose, Sardar Patel, Rajendra Prasad, and C. Rajgopalachari came to the helm. The economic backwardness of the country, the consequences of colonial underdevelopment also contributed to the rise of communalism. Due to the lack of modern industrial development, unemployment was an acute problem in India, especially for the educated. There was in consequence an intense competition for existing jobs. Far-sighted Indians had diagnosed the disease and worked for an economic and political system in which the country would develop economically and in which therefore employment would be plentiful. However, many others thought that such short-sightedness and short-term remedies as communal, provincial or caste reservation in jobs, they aroused communal and religious and later caste and provincial passions in an attempt to get a larger share of the existing limited employment opportunities. To those looking desperately for employment, such a narrow appeal had a certain immediate attraction. In this situation, Hindu and Muslim communal leaders, caste leaders, and officials following the policy of divide and rule were able to achieve some success. Many Hindus began to talk of Hindu nationalism and many Muslims of Muslim nationalism. The politically immature people failed to realize that their economic, educational, and cultural difficulties were the result of common subjection to foreign rule and of economic backwardness, and that only through common effort could they free their country, develop it economically, and thus solve the underlying common problems such as unemployment. Some believe that the major factor in the growth of communalism was the existence of several religions in India. This is not so. It is not true that communalism must arise inevitably in a multi religious society. Here we must distinguish between religion as a belief system, which people follow as a part of their personal belief, and the ideology that of a religion based socio political identity. That is communalism. Religion is not the cause of communalism, nor is communalism inspired by religion. Religion comes into communalism to the extent that it serves politics arising in non religious spheres. Communalism has been rightly declared as political trade in religion. Religion was used after 1937 as a mobilizing factor by the communalists. Secularism is not therefore opposed to religion. It only means confining religion to private life of the individual and dissociating it from politics and the state. As Gandhiji repeatedly declared, religion is the personal affair of each individual. It must not be mixed up with politics or national affairs. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we in the next video will start with the last paragraph for this topic, that is on page number 209, and we are still continuing with chapter number 11. Thank you everyone for tuning in. All the best for exams, and do share and subscribe this channel. Thank you everyone.